Welcome back to World in Flames on Myth Machine. This is World in Flames 5th edition, cobbled together with Days of Decision 3rd edition with duct tape and chewing gum. We are here to follow the war turn by turn until, who knows, maybe the bitter end. We'll find out, won't we? So far in the world, things have been calm. We are on September, October 1936. We've had 3 turns played through, and at this stage, I would say that things have been simmering underneath the surface. Germany has reoccupied the Rhineland, Italy conquered Italian East Africa, and there have been attempts at coupping Spain, and did not trigger a civil war, but it did trigger complete change of the political field. Spain went from between the democracies and the socialists, and then right into, I was making a mistake last time, it costs a little bit more, because this is a different shade of color, right? So it costs 3 points to get in here, and 3 points to get out. Spain is now smack dab in the middle, rather than over here that I did mistakenly last time. And everybody wants to struggle over Spain because it is a prize. The situation we have now is that the US has 8 bid points, Britain has 1, France has no bid points, Germany has 1, Italy has 9, we have 13 with the USSR, 10 with Japan, and 3 with China. And I have already pre-prepared the actual bids here. Each of the nations also has some bonuses from last initiative. And let's see how this bidding turns out. Remember, in the game, when a bid is made, you bet certain amounts of your bid points, you add the bid modifier, and the final result is your actual total bid, and that the highest total bid goes first. Then ties are broken by political effectiveness or whatever position you had on the initiative last turn. So this turn, Italy will bid 8 points, but it's split in 2, so it's 4 plus 4, right? Which I think lands it on 6 on each. So we're actually going to do 2 Italian markers here, 6 on each. We have Germany bids 3, which is more bid points than it currently has. But between that and the bonus, it gets a 6. And because it has higher political efficiency than Italy, it will go first. France is bidding 2 plus 4 is 6. And it has the same political efficiency as Italy, and went before Italy last turn, so it ends up going before Italy. What else do we have? Commonwealth also bids 2, that is 5. It also went before Italy last turn, so it's also going to go ahead of... No, wait, Italy has 6 each, that's what we said. So it's 5, there we go. Commonwealth goes below Italy. The USSR bids 1, gets 3. Japan bids 1, the US bids 1, and of course China bids 1. So everybody bids something. We're going to have an order looking like this. And then Italy in the 3rd place. Okay, let's see how this is going to work. Germany will start. Oh, right. I think I've already made a bit of a mistake, but that's okay. Germany plays IPO number 4, minor coup in Spain. To absolutely nobody's surprise, but because Germany's doing this, France can in fact negate that with its coup cell. Germany has to pay 5 Reichsmarks, and is now down to a -1. Germany also had bid 3 in total. That's 1 bid point and 2 more money. So that took a heavy toll on the German economy right there. France will simply negate it with its own coup cell. let's go back here. So France, Germany, there we go, in Spain. And this is how it reads. It's IPO number 4, coup. After you announce your coup target and pay for the coup attempt, anyone who has a cell in the target miner by previously playing their option 0E can neutralize your coup attempt by expending their cell. So that is it. It has been neutralized. The German attempt, as it were, is not going to trigger a coup. Berlin intervenes discreetly, I think the headline will be here. German officials have denied any involvement in recent political maneuverings in Spain, dismissing reports of foreign interference as speculation driven by alarmism abroad. Nevertheless, diplomatic observers note that the French influence in Madrid has abruptly diminished, replaced by a renewed sense of balance more favorable to, perhaps, Axis interests. The shift appears calculated, limited, and deliberately deniable. For Berlin, the message is clear. Germany will act quietly when its interests are challenged. Also, what is not covered in the daily news are the corpses fished out of the river. These are going to be both German and French, but officially they're just drunks, accidents, businessmen. It's all labeled accidents, yes, and accidental deaths, very tragically, as the spy game in Madrid heats up considerably. And Germany now gets to activate a miner. The only miner left to activate seems to be Austria. How long can this spy game continue, we ask ourselves? The answer is, for as long as people have money. Alright, Germany will roll a d10. Let's see if the turn ends immediately or not. It definitely does not. That was a 10, and we needed a 2 to end it. So, France gets to play, and France can plant another coup cell in Spain, which it will. And doing so will cost France a lot of money. Sorry, don't know why it did that. Secretly place a coup cell that costs 5 money for France. Late on the roll there. France is down to -1 money. Actually -3 because they had to pay for the bid as well. So there's a lot of countries starting to end up in deficits here. And there is exactly nothing anywhere to activate in terms of minor countries, so we'll just move on to the next one. The turn will continue on a 1 above a 3. And we rolled a 1. We rolled a 1, everyone. Italy does not get to play its option. It spent 8 bid points in total, will regain 3. But that was definitely a blow to the Italian bid point pool. And Britain bid 2. I think Britain only had the 1, so it goes down like this, it goes down like that, and then it gets 3 bid points because it didn't get to play it. And then it's going to be the same for the rest of the way here. The USSR bid 1 point, which gives it 2 back, so it nets +1. Japan bid 1 point, didn't get to play, so it nets +1 as well. China bid 1, gains 1 back. The US bid 1, nets +1 in total for 9. And that's where we are now. Alright, that was a shorter turn than perhaps we expected. Right now, there is no coup cell in Spain. So someone who managed to take the initiative next turn could be able to both build a coup cell and activate it, the same impulse, the same political initiative, provided they pay enough to do so. Don't know if anybody has the will to, though. So that's the problem. So, we go to the reinforcement stage of the military affairs. Reinforcement segment. No reinforcements here. Oh, I'm wrong. There is, in fact, a reinforcement here. A German tank corps is coming in. It's an 8-6 And it's going to do some damage, I'm sure, when general war breaks out. The war to end all wars. Oh, that was the 14 to 18 one, right? Did it end all wars? Maybe not. What else did we have? That was the only reinforcement in that particular part of the pie chart. It's a pie chart. Okay, we have September, October here. We have a Chinese army. We have a Soviet army. And we have a Japanese Marine Corps. Let's go, Japan. You have a Marine Corps to play around with. We'll put that one in Tokyo, obviously. Right now, there is nothing to transport it to any other place, but it'll come, and it'll come in good time before anything bad happens. Where would the Soviets put their new 6-3? We're gonna need to have some troops out here, and let's put it in Kyiv. And the Chinese Nationalist Infantry Army, where should that go? That is a real problem, isn't it? We have 2 corps here. We have 2 corps here. We have 2 corps here. We have... It's actually not corps, it's armies. Yeah, it's armies. I knew someone would say something about that, so I preempted you. The question is, do we need... Because there's always the risk of having a Japanese invasion in the south. So maybe just put this fellow down here. China needs to keep track of a lot of ground, is what we're saying. And that is it for the reinforcements. Let's roll for initiative. 1d6 each. That was not the roll, obviously. The Axis have a +1 on the initiative roll. And they roll a 6 in total. Allies cannot ask for a reroll. So we start with Axis initiative. And weather this turn will be a 4. A 4. Where did we have the weather last time? July, August was a 4, and now it's a 4 again, so it just continues. But now it's mud almost everywhere, except Mediterranean, subtropical, and South Monsoon. 3 steps for every between the impulses of the 2 sides. Very well. Mud. Alright, Axis first impulse. Not a whole lot to do here, honestly, because these guys are where they're supposed to be. I think Japan is going to need to build another HQ, honestly. Wait, oh yeah, we have 2 corps. We have 2 armies there. We have Hatta there. Yeah, we're going to need to build... Should probably build air transports with Japan too, just to be able to move the headquarters around quickly. But yeah, there's not much to do there right now. I honestly have no idea why I put these guys here. If they're based in Tokyo, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 1 step. Yeah, it can get all the way up there from here. That makes sense, I guess. Though these guys aren't needed down there. They can be still up here. Because they have a longer range. Italy, everything looks fine-ish. Is there any type of movements we want to make? Not really, because we have to play it by ear a little bit. We have to... I guess I could rail this infantry corps up here. Germany is fine the way it is at the moment. These guys stepped ashore in Stettin last turn. Want to... Yeah, that's as far as we get, because it's muddy everywhere. We have the French here on guard on the Spanish border. And that is basically it. Yep. Are the Allies going to do anything? I think it looks decent the way it does. We can move this guy there and flip it. And that's basically going to be it for the Allies. Yep. There's the whole lot to move. This might be a very short turn indeed. We might have the time for 2 sides here. So that's Axis and Allied Impulse, and then we go 1, 2, 3. the second side impulse, which is the Axis, of course, and it might just pass entirely. There isn't enough forces to move about anywhere particularly, so yeah, I'll roll a d6 and see if the turn ends on a 1. It does not. And the Allies are also not so interested in doing just about anything, so ends on a 2. Nope. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Axis third impulse. We roll again to see if it ends on a 3 because everybody's passing. And it doesn't. And the Allies roll. No! Still doesn't end. This is as far. This was a long winter turn with almost nothing happening. And there it ends. Okay, so Axis actually got 1 impulse more than the Allies. And yeah, that's what happened with that. Shortest turn so far because the weather is poor and nobody's fighting each other and so on. Things are going to heat up later. Partisan phase. Let's roll a6 for partisans. We rolled a 4. For partisans, it's Norway, UK, Hungary, Poland, Italian, East Africa, Australia, Manchuria, and China. Okay, we're going to roll for Italian East Africa because that is there's only 1 unit there. If I roll a 1, it will keep the partisans from blowing up the resource in this edition of the rules. It did not. Italy gets 1 less money this year. Manchuria is, of course, occupied by the Japanese. And because there's no war, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's not going to be any partisan messiness there. All right, that was that for the partisan phase. In later editions, the partisans have their own units and everything. U.S. entry still nothing because, you know, nobody's doing anything. Production phase. Well, there's no wars between any major powers at the moment. All right, we have 10 U.S. money here. We have 3 per turn, 3 new money in there. And let's see if there's stuff we need to do. I think there might be some aircraft carriers that need to get built. It is... Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. We have the Lexington and the Yorktown. They are coming in now. Not immediately, obviously. They're being built now. This is the second turn on the production spiral. We're doing the superstructure this time. Keels have already been laid down. It's very costly. It costs 6 money. So that is basically all we're going to do for the US this turn. That's 1 ship. The Commonwealth has 3 money, earns 6 per turn. There we go. Now has 9 money. And does it have any mandatory builds? Not in that list. And that's 38, so not yet. Okay, good. Did we build... We built 1 ship last time. Yeah, we're building 1 ship again. Transport, like so many other times. That is what we're churning out here. I might just do a light surface next turn, because sooner or later we're going to need those escorts too. We're going to need them everywhere, so it's probably a good idea to start building some of those. France has 4 production per turn. It's broke. Has 1 money at the moment, so probably not going to build anything if they don't have to. And they don't have to. Alright then. France just doesn't build. This Spanish affair has really cost France deeply. France did have the time to place a coup cell because they rolled out, didn't they? Wasn't it the last? Yeah. So France has a new coup cell in Spain and nobody else does. So that's an interesting development, isn't it? The democracies are holding on to Spain. I feel that they should probably do something like an alliance with Spain or the like. That would get Spain to move out of the central area here. I think Britain is not poorly placed to do that, though France is actually better placed to do that because France has an alliance with the Czechs and the Yugoslavians, which you can see underneath there. And also, wait, yeah, and also with Poland. So there's plenty of, that's it, German alliance with Poland too. Weirdly enough, at this stage of the game, so France is very well placed to do an alliance with Spain indeed. To do that, they have to be able to pull off a high initiative, but yeah. Germany has -3 money, gets 8, so +5 money. And Germany cannot afford to slack off with things. We've done the paratroopers. We have an air transport that we haven't built, which is expensive. Very expensive. I don't know that I want to do that right now. Maybe Germany should just build nothing. No mandatory builds there. No mandatory builds. Germany building nothing? A turn? Is that a good thing? Don't know. And then we have Italy at 4 production, ends up at a +2. Has 4 bid points left. No, it was at... it had 5 resources, 4 resources, because one was blown up in East Africa. So yeah, it has... it still gets its 4 money because it can actually spare that extra resource. Alright. What else do we have? We have 6 USSR money. Plus the 4, so now 10. And obviously we're going to spend 3 on an infantry. Nobody should be surprised by this. That's a 5-3, which is a decent... for now. Later in the war it's going to be terrible, but for now it's decent. And Japan has 6 production and 5 money, so that's 11. It has no mandatory builds there. No mandatory builds there. Okay. Japan should build. So the thing is, these Chinese fighters are very scary for Japan. Just very scary. Do we have any Air Force coming in here? We have transports and marines. Let's build a fighter with Japan. That costs 4 money. We're down to 7. Because... oh man, it's like the worst one. I guess the Japanese will just have to come with overwhelming numbers to bring down the threat of the Chinese Air Force. China is not building anything, of course, just saving up the money here. So there isn't a whole lot of building going on in the world at the moment, is there? Let's see. Japan built 1 aircraft. Italy didn't build anything. Germany didn't build anything. China didn't build anything. And the USSR built 1 infantry. And the Commonwealth built. So that's it. That is all we had. And with that, final return to base phase, which nobody has actually done anything except the final reorganization of this Italian unit in Trieste. I'm sure it's nothing for the Yugoslavians to worry about at all. So, for once in this stream, we're actually going to do a second turn. Yes, we're going to November-December of 1936. And we're going to do the whole November-December turn as well. Look at that. That's never happened before on this stream. So, now we need to calculate how each power will bid. We know that the US... okay. The US doesn't know anything about how much the others will be bidding. But they can tell. They have, 9 bid points. And they can tell from the map here that if Germany bids 4 bid points, they get 8 in total. So I think The US will bid 8. Because they really need to hold the election in November, December. There's no doubt about that. I think the Commonwealth, they would love to support the French with Spain. Right now, there are no Axis coup cells in that country. I think... why not just bid 3 straight up? In the worst case, we can always play a 0G and get a lot of new bid points. It's either that or bidding 2. If we want France to go first... yeah, okay, let France go first. So we'll bid 2 there. France has no bid points because they didn't get to go last turn. Okay. Huh. That's a problem. And France only has the 1 money. And soon it's time to gear up the production level. So we can't spend a whole lot this turn. France is going to bid 1. Alright, we're going through all the bids here. I think France is just going to bid the 1. What will we have with Germany here? Germany has 5 money. Germany has some shenanigans up its sleeve. I remember that in an older edition, as it were. Yes. So, Germany is going to bid some stuff. This is from an older edition, but it's also fun to follow the history here. So, Germany is going to bid 4. It's going for it. But Japan is going to bid 6. Things are happening behind the scenes, clearly. What is Italy going to do with its 4 bid points? I guess it can bid 3. And finally, China bids the 1, as always. And the result of this will be the following initiative order. Let's have a look. Not gonna do the twofer for Italy again. That didn't work very well. We tried. Didn't work. Okay, let's see now. China will be last, as per always. The US bids 8 plus 1 gets... or was it 7? Gee, I got confused immediately. No, bids 8. So, gets... 8 plus 1 gets 9. Germany gets 8 in total because 4 plus 4 is 8. Japan bids 6 plus 1 is 7. Italy bids 3 plus 3 is 6. Commonwealth bids 2 plus 2 is 4. France bids 1 plus 3 is also 4. Goes before the Commonwealth because of the previous initiative order. And China bids Russia. Oh, I forgot about Russia. Russia. Oh, Russia's gonna bid something. Let's see. I've added the options from the annual World in Flames magazines here. They're not going to come into play yet. I don't know what this weird object is. It's just something. It's like a weird shadow box lying there. No idea what's going on. Let's go. This is also historically correct. Okay, we need to do... How much does Russia have? It has +2. Okay. There we go. 5. It's a nice and round number. So it gets 7 in total. 7 puts it... I need to remember what the others... So this was 9, 8, 7, 7. Japan was... So it's going to be like this. So US, Germany, Soviet Union, Japan, Italy, France, Commonwealth. And that's where we're at. Alright, so we will start the political turn immediately. The United States will play option IPO government falls, IPO 10. Cost is $1. There's 6 money left. And it means that the United States of America has held its election on the appointed time. It won't have to hold an election for another 4 years. And Roosevelt has been re-elected, which is not going to change the US entry at all. But having done this now, the US will be free to do a bunch of stuff. So it's always November, December, of course, for the US to hold elections. We know that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next time is 1940. Okay, there is literally no minor countries to activate because almost all the politics so far has just been quiet, backstabby spycraft that has led absolutely nowhere. So yeah, there's nothing to activate for the US. It will therefore roll to end the turn, and it will roll end on a 1 or a 2. Let's see. Everybody wants to do something this turn. But the US rolled a 1, so it ends immediately. What is this? How are we having so short political turns now? Germany's not happy. The Soviets are not happy. Nobody's happy, is what I'm saying. Nobody's happy with this. Okay then, let's see. The US did bid those 8 points. It has 1 bid point left. It was important to have its election. Of course, it will be able to gear up next turn as well, gear up its military production, so it's going to need to have some money for that, some bid points for that. The US will be active. Commonwealth bid 2 points out of its 3. It didn't get to do anything, which means that it gets a net +1. France bid 1 point. That was its money. It didn't get to do anything. It gets 3 bid points back as comfort. Germany bid 4 out of its nothing. So that's 4 money. Gets 5 back for not having a chance to do anything. Italy bid 3 of its bid points. Didn't get to do anything. Gets those 3 back. And China bid 1, gets 1 back. That's how it goes, isn't it? So that is the adjusted situation. Soviet Union bid 5, I said. Didn't get to do anything. It is going down to 9 bid points saved +2 for its political effectiveness. And that is, as they say, it. That's the new situation on the ground. Reinforcements are coming in, only to the Soviets this time. And where do we place this lad? This laddie. Why not? Boom. There we go. That was the only reinforcement coming out of there. Let's see. I don't think the Soviets can actually gear up. Nope, it's until 1939. It's going to take a while. But Japan can gear up next turn. Japan bid... Oh, I didn't remove the bid points from Japan, did I? Japan bid 6 and didn't get to do anything. So it's -4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it gets 2 back because it didn't get to do anything. And as always with China, 1 for 1. Okay. We have... Do we have any reinforcements on this chart here? We do! A French fighter is coming in. An American transport is coming in. Let's put that in the Pacific. Here on the west coast. The French fighter will come in mainland France. Let's put it in Paris for now. Or we can be a bit more forward-looking and put in Strasbourg just because we can. Some Devoitine de 520. That was my terrible attempt at French. I apologize to all the French people. We have the Gneisenau and the Scharnhorst now in the construction pool. And it has to be built and completed. This is a heavy surface group. It has to be completed in January, February 39. So I think that's safe to be done. And we have a German paratrooper, Fallschirmjäger. Let's put them... That's where the air transport, isn't it? Just put it together there in Magdeburg. Or we put it in Nuremberg, and then we do an air transport aircraft rebase to put the air transport together with them. Who knows? Too early to tell. And that is all she wrote for the November-December reinforcements. We are almost done with 1936, you guys. We're heading into 1937, and I'm sure everything will be calm and peaceful. Peace forever on Earth, brotherhood of man, and siblinghood, maybe. Let's see who gets the initiative this time. The Axis do not have a +1 anymore. It is a 0 to 0 here. And this time it's a 5. Because the Axis had the initiative last time, it would go over to the Allies. Okay then, I guess. Axis are not particularly interested in challenging that with a reroll. So for the first time, the Allies will go first. Of course, they have almost nothing to do, because everything is nice and peaceful. We rolled a 6 on the weather roll, and there is no modifier. November, December. It is mud and clear everywhere. It's the nicest November, December ever, and I think everybody who wants to wage war somewhere on these maps would love it if it was not so nice all the time. All right. Or rather, if it was nice like this when the war started. That's what the Axis would like. Alright, we are starting with the Allies, and honestly there's very little to do. Guess I can move a unit like that. Oh look, this is not a passing... Oh, wait, we had mud in the Arctic, right? Yeah, it's gonna get flipped. Oh, heaven forbid. It got flipped. I'll have to remember to unflip that boyo. That one should have been unflipped from last turn. Okay, yeah, that's basically it. The grand movements here of etc. Then, Allies are done. Axis will do their turn. And again, there isn't a whole lot of work to be done because there's no transport here for the Japanese just yet. It's going to come in next turn, January, February, together with another Marine. There's another transport on the way as well. But that means we can't move this Marine now. We have... Germany here has these boyos. It's not muddy here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. It's an aggressive move, that is, and we can rebase that one. And because... Do we have a second para in yet? Nope. Let's empty the hex there so the second para can come in when it needs to. Or we can do the other way around. So we put the para here, and we have the air transport rebased here, and then we can have another para here. No, Czechoslovakia, don't worry about anything. We're completely peaceful here. Yes, very peaceful. These are just exercises. We need to know how to maneuver our troops in all sorts of terrain, across rivers, for example. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Don't you worry about a thing. That is the word. 1, 2, was it 1, 2, 3? I think it was 1, 2, 3. Because it's November, December. November, December is usually 3. I was wrong. Number of impulse okay, it's just one step. Gee, this is gonna be a really long summer turn, isn't it? So that's where we're for, okay. And nobody's doing anything. Can't pass, can't end the turn there. Can end the turn there. Everybody's passing. It didn't end. So, axis. No, that's okay. That's the first side's impulse because we have so allied, second side, first side. This is where we are now. There we go. Axis, second impulse, and it would end on a 1 now that everybody's passing. It ended. There we go. So both sides got 2 impulses each, and that was it. That was it. No wars, no aggression in the world yet. Will there be partisans somewhere? I rolled a 1. Greece, Spain, Finland, France, Yugoslavia, Malaysia, Malaya, USA, India. So, not really. Okay then. We go on to production, because that's all we got. The US is again not going to spend a whole lot, because it can gear up next turn, and would want to. Unfortunately, I bid so much just to get Roosevelt re-elected for the sake of the US entry situation, and you're going to see later on how that's going to pay off. But the US is not building anything this turn, because gearing up is very expensive for the US. Commonwealth has 5 money, cannot gear up next turn, gets 6, we're at 11. Has no mandatory builds there. Not until 38. Nothing here either, so that's all good. So 37 we need to build something, but late 37. So I think we're just gonna build another transport. Here we go. That is Britain's homework, building all the transports. France gets its 4 money. Yay, it's in the positive! But I don't think it's going to build anything this turn either, because it can gear up next turn, and gearing up is very expensive. So, yet again, we see very little. Germany gets 8 money. That's 9 money in the box. Doesn't have it to... No mandatory builds there. When did Scharnhorst and Gneisenau have to be on the map? 39, so we don't have to build it until a year from now. Germany will also hold on to the money, because there is a lot of... Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bidding for gearing up next turn, is what I'm saying. Italy cannot gear up next turn. We'll have 6 money. Okay, what do we want to do with 6 money, Italy? Something. That's not a mandatory build. No mandatory builds there either. Okay. It's all good. We have some Italians in the repair pool over here. Roma and Impero have to come in, but not yet. What should be built? Fighters, snaps. We have a fighter. We don't have any naval bombers. We have 6 money. Okay, let's build a naval bomber. Just completely... Lots of money going here. It's an okay one. Naval... I think it costs 5, right? Nav 5. Yes, indeed. And it takes 4 turns to get it in, so... This is one of those longer term investments. So... There we have it. Boom. And Italy thus have in fact built an aircraft. Soviet Union has 7 money, has now 11 money, -3, 1, 2, 3, 8 money, and another infantry coming in. It's a 3-2, also known as a speed bump. One by one, the Soviet army is being built. One by one. Okay, we have 7 money there, 6 production per turn, 13 money. We built a fighter last turn. Did we have a marine left to build? I don't think so. We have transports left to build, lots of them. We've built the fighter. There are 2 air transports. There are some navs. There's a para. Japanese paratrooper. Okay then. We should probably build that, just for the sake of it. It's now November, December 36. No mandatory builds there. No mandatory builds there. So Japan can actually build some stuff. Let's build an air transport there. Why did I shuffle that? That was completely unnecessary. They always have the same numbers. Air transport costs 5. Expensive. We're down to 8 money there. Japan will need a lot of infantry too, honestly. Probably should start building that. But I can't help myself from the idea of some Japanese paras coming on the board sooner or later. Actually, I could build one right now. So let's do it, just for funsies. It's $5, so the Japanese paracorps is also on the way. And now we've built like all the specialists. We haven't built the Japanese tank. So that's going to have to come in as well. There's the para. So the Japanese gearing limits will be 1 infantry and 1 aircraft. Yep. I didn't build an infantry last turn, so I couldn't build more than 1 this turn. Okay, 3 money left there. China has now 3 money and can build an infantry, so they will. Not -1. Thank you very much. Okay. It is a 3-2 nationalist army, which is, I guess, a stopgap measure to hold the line for a moment somewhere. It's going to be a bit of wild politically next year as well, because there's so many gear ups coming from different people. Okay, we've built the Chinese infantry. Chinese infantry there. USSR infantry, obviously. Commonwealth built, yep. And the Americans didn't build anything. So that is where we're at. We have completed production for September, October. No, November, December is what we're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. It was very empty here because none of these guys built anything. It's just over on the other map that things were built. So, we didn't have anything mandatory to build, did we? With the Yanks? Let's double check. I don't think we did, but... No, yeah, nope. Okay then. So, this is the situation in the world. We can move this counter forward to January, February of 1937. We have completed the first year of play, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here. 1937. And in the new year, France will have to hold an election. Not the Commonwealth. This is just a marker on where it is on the... But they have until 1939, so they're fine. And the US did hold its election, and there's going to be a bunch of gear ups from various parties. Germany, France, the United States, they can all gear up. So make sure to check in next week as this World in Flames solo campaign continues and the various powers are trying to jostle with each other for the right to go first. It was nonsense, wasn't it? It just ended right there. And who gets to play their respective political options. We will be here to cover the entire war from beginning to end. and thank you very much for joining us this time.